Hey guys, how's it going, Kripparrian? So I've been playing Diablo for a little bit, and I missed some cool drama. I had to read up on it today, and it is the Hearthstone kind. It is the Reddit kind. It is the awesome kind. So I thought I'd go over with you guys today because, well, I have a pretty good amount of common sense and a pretty good nose for bullshit. I'm hoping you guys like to hear my opinion on things. So the thing we're going to talk about today is the MagicAmy thing. So how did it start? So let's go over some of the kind of facts here. Most of these things are like testimonials, people's opinion and stuff, Reddit posts, that kind of stuff. There is some harder evidence that I won't really go over. You guys will see. You guys will see. But there are some interesting things to be heard here, some interesting things to realize. So first it got started with, okay, there's a player, MagicAmy. She's apparently pretty good at Hearthstone because she's done pretty well, including winning an ESL. ESL is a fairly prestigious tournament in Hearthstone. How about that? So the curious thing is that she's never actually participated in any live event. Nobody has actually seen her play Hearthstone in real life. It's only been through like online tournaments and stuff, which are pretty easy to cheat through, as you guys are hopefully familiar with if you're a subscriber to my YouTube channel, if you're a follower on the Hearthstone Reddit. Pretty easy to cheat in online tournaments, as it turns out. That's why they have real-life tournaments. That's why some people who cheat in online tournaments have trouble making those real-life tournaments, as was the case with MagicAmy. So we saw this from Eric Brinkley on Twitter. Unfortunately, due to last-minute personal issue, Tempo MagicAmy is unable to attend the ESL Hearthstone Finals and will be replaced by Max. So fine. Sometimes real-life RNG can be pretty brutal, and some real-life shit can hit you pretty hard, and you can't do stuff that you plan on. So yeah, that can happen. But some people react to this a little bit differently. One of those people was Specialist. Specialist is one of the old school Hearthstone players. He was among the best when the game came out, and for quite some time after, up to the point somewhat recently where I believe he was banned for win trading or something like that. I don't really know how that went down. I don't really care. The post goes into a lot of stuff. I can't really read all of these because I'm just going to be basically reading the same shit as on the post. So I'm just going to summarize it pretty quick. So he thinks that MagicAmy is more than one person. He thinks the one person is the woman from Korea, and second is a Canadian player, perhaps playing on her account, perhaps pretty well versed with posting articles on Tempo Storm, which is a team she's on, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of this comes from the fact that she's never done this live event, she's never streamed, she's never appeared in an offline event, and in the general sense, there's a lot of bullshit that's going on, in addition to her tricking a lot of people to doing stuff that she wants to do, and her getting the kind of stuff. Well, it's a grill, plays Hearthstone on the interwebs. There's some things to expect from that point. So some people looked into this, and one of the people was our super cool dude, Mr. Chucky. And Mr. Chucky realized through some online social media investigations that MagicAmy, or at least the online presence of MagicAmy, is not brought by just the Korean side. It's also a Canadian side, and the Canadian side is apparently some dude called William Blaney. And in this, he posted like images of them being together and stuff. So I'm not really going to post those. A lot of those have been deleted, so I'm not really going to that. You basically have to trust me that there is a lot of evidence to suggest that these two people are together and they're working as one on the internet. And they're both basically claiming to be the same person. That is MagicAmy, that is Hiram Lee. So William Blaney is kind of like the new addition that people have just found out about now. But this got a little bit more interesting. So it got a little bit more interesting with some of the additional posts that came through. And this is where Reddit started to really blow up. One of those posts is from Elliot. Elliot is one of the founders of Prismata. Prismata is a pretty cool game I played recently. And apparently he worked with Amy to get a lot of stuff done. One of the things to get done was that Amy was supposed to get some of the Hearthstone streamers to play in their tournaments. Well, that's me. I was one of those people. And I can testify, I can bring to this argument that MagicAmy did not contact me. I was basically in the group that, Elliot mentions, told us she had contacted a popular Hearthstone streamer to play in a tournament or Prismata stream when she had not contacted them at all. I'm basically in that group of people or person. I don't know. So, never talked to her. I don't know. The guy who led me to Prismata was actually Monk. Monk's a pretty cool dude, and we talk about stuff like this. So I got involved, and it was awesome. And also, we basically get to see some of the crazy bullshit is starting to pop up in this post. And I'll go over just a few lines here so you guys realize what I'm talking about. So it really got a little bit interesting when he says the behavior I witnessed is pretty consistent with Celerity's post, which we're going to get into here in just a second, regarding her being a pathological liar. She even told us she had received free plane tickets to BlizzCon to be a translator and would help promote Prismata there, but she never showed up. Man. That first part, before the showing up, is such a load of bullshit. It really blows my mind that you'd even really suggest that you do something like that. I mean, come on. So you pay me, and I'll go to BlizzCon, and I'll tell people about Prismata. Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff, and we'll go to Celerity's post here. Celerity mentions that he was in somewhat of a relationship with Amy, the Korean side of Amy at least, and he spent a lot of money on her. The image shows basically proving that he spent a lot of money on her, about $5,000, and he was on a team with Jab, and Jab also mentioned that they were in some kind of relationship as well going on. Basically, she's trying to get as much out of the interwebs as she can. And he also mentions that probably the victim afterwards was Mr. Teray. Teray is an amazing Hearthstone player who made it very high up in the big Hearthstone tournament at BlizzCon. And apparently it's Teray who's doing a lot of the laddering on her account right now, and it explains why she's refusing all these tournament invites. So, yeah, TLDR. She's shady as fuck. She's a pathological liar, but she's not a guy. Thanks for your time. And he also mentions in regard to the Tempo Storm thing, because the Tempo Storm got on a team. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Well, Celerity mentions that none of the people who are now coming forward with all their evidence and all that kind of stuff probably didn't approach Reynad, but he did. He told them everything that he knew before Tempo Storm signed her, and turns out he signed her anyway. But, I mean, we'll get to that in a second. I don't think that's too big of a deal. So Tempo Storm. So she is on Tempo Storm, and it has been posting articles, and the articles are actually really good. I've read some of the articles. They made a snapshot number 3, MagicAmy's GVG Ladder 2 list. It's really well written. It's really well organized. And let me tell you, it takes a lot of stuff to do this. I mean, it takes a lot of time, a lot of knowledge about Hearthstone, a good ability to write what you're actually thinking, how the state is, do it well, do all that. Takes a lot. Okay, so it wouldn't surprise me that she's never actually written a word of this, but we don't know that. We don't know that. But what we do know is the feedback has been really good. On one side, it's because the content is really good. This is basically the best content on Tempo Storm, in my opinion, and justifiably, it is the most talked about, has the most comments, it has the best feedback among the articles on Tempo Storm that at least a free user can see, because I'm a free user on Tempo Storm. So that's where we're at. And you also start to see, some people, they get a little bit lovey-lovey when it comes to girls on the internet. But we're going to discuss that in a second. So the Tempo Storm reaction has been from Reynad. Well, it's turning out to be a pretty big investigation. It'll definitely take more time than a day, and we'll be transparent when it's concluded. Yeah, we'll see about that. So at this point, you're probably asking, who really gives a shit, right? Well, it's kind of a problem. It's kind of a problem when there is... there's cheating going on online tournaments, as you guys very well know. But when you can identify it, you have to prevent it. When there's more than meets the eye, you kind of have to identify it. So that's the kind of stuff that's going on right now. I just want to show you guys some more circumstantial proof that I dug up. This is on one of the ESL matches. This is MagicAmy versus Hyped. And you can see that, as a lot of people have suggested, apparently she was looking very, very bored during pretty intense matchups because probably she wasn't actually playing. She just turned the camera on and told some dude to play for her. We don't know exactly who, but that dude played pretty well because she actually won. And, we can see, at least from the video itself, I saw a timestamp, and the timestamp refers to a card moving while she's adjusting her hair. And yeah, there's maybe a sync problem with the camera and the game, but come on, who are we kidding at this point, right? All right, and you can see some pretty funny posts. You think I'll show mercy to cheaters? LOL. And of course, because I'm from the other side of the planet. So at this point, we kind of see the picture. I mean, I don't know exactly what the facts are. Probably a few days from now, some stuff's going to happen, some information is going to come out. But in general, it's probably just going to be more bullshit. It's maybe the Tempo Storm dudes are going to bring a few extra facts to the table, but it's not really going to change anything. You guys basically get the picture of what's going on. So what is really going on? In my opinion, it's probably some Canadian dude who's pretty good at Hearthstone, and he met this Korean chick we know as MagicAmy, and instead of doing pretty well for himself, doing well in tournaments and starting up the stream and stuff, he decided to pretty much work with her to create basically like a Hearthstone persona, which is known as MagicAmy, and kind of get internet fame that way. Because when it comes to gaming, people don't think of grills, and when people go on the internet, they actually think of grills. So being a female gamer does get you a pretty big plus in some ends and somewhat a negative on other ends. But being successful, doing well in tournaments, and seeming very coherent, posting a lot of articles, posting a lot of content, doing very well in tournaments, it's as if you have like a superhuman. You're like just the best. You're at the top of the game, and this is the impression that two people can do. That's pretty hard for one person to do alone. So that's really what's going on, and probably I'd actually guess that this started with the dude. He's probably pretty good at Hearthstone, and I was kind of thinking about it, and you can kind of see it. I mean, do you guys know who the best Canadian Hearthstone player is? You don't. No, you don't. It's actually Silent Storm. Silent Storm is a Canadian dude. He actually has the highest win rate that I could find on the website in terms of tournament performance. And it's Silent Storm. You guys probably never even heard of him. He's on fucking Team MagicAmy, dude. There's a MagicAmy team. And this goes back to what I was saying. All this like organization to come up with a team, to get contracts, to do work, to post articles, to do well in Hearthstone, to learn the game. People don't do that. One person maybe can do that, but it's usually not going to be the case. So that's really what's going on. I feel it's a situation where two people found a shady way to kind of get ahead. And we've seen a lot of this in the past. We've seen, Twitch streamers pretending to be handicapped, pretending to be wheelchair bound, and then, one day when their camera kind of screws up, we see them getting up and fixing something or some bullshit like that. So there's some crazy stuff on the internet that people do to kind of gain sympathy, gain favor, gain a certain type of audience, and it doesn't really come to too much of a surprise that we're at this point right now with the MagicAmy entity. All in all, what does it really matter? Not too much. It's pretty awesome to really understand the situation. The only real loser here is maybe some of the credibility of Tempo Storm, but honestly, I think she got them a lot of really good content. Maybe they were fooled into thinking that it was one person, but who really cares? The work that was produced seemed to be pretty damn genuine, so I don't really fault that stuff too much. And again, I'm not too surprised that there's shitty people in this world. Though, I do want to say that, one thing that I can really realize here is how much work was being done by this MagicAmy entity. And, it really makes me think that you guys are watching my video right now. You guys are seeing Krip on YouTube. You guys ended up finding this spot on the internet. And, I feel that's a result of me doing a lot of work. I mean, I've been doing the streaming thing for more than 3 years now, right? No, it's coming up on 3 years, but I've been doing the YouTube thing for several years before that. I mean, when I started streaming, I was playing for 20 hours a day. I tried to keep that up for weeks before I was collapsing, and then I was streaming for 12 hours a day for months. I mean, for the first time I took a break was 2 years later when I had to go to BlizzCon Hearthstone tournament, man. These days, I'm at the computer, I'm streaming, I'm coming up with content for you guys, I'm researching up a lot of stuff, I'm talking to people, and thankfully, I have my girl Rania to help me do a lot of this stuff. She does a lot of the talking with a lot of people, a lot of sponsors. She makes it so organizing tournaments makes it very easy on me. But I feel I've come to the point where I am with a lot of hard work, and I haven't really taken too many shortcuts. But through my time on the interwebs with all this stuff, I've seen a lot of people try to take every single shortcut they can. So it's just another day on the internet. Pretty interesting though. Pretty much teaches you guys the lesson that on the internet, it's very difficult to really know something, to really know someone. So you kind of have to keep it at the back of your mind. What seems to be the case may not be the case. They might just be appealing to what you want to see, what you might be interested in, what you'd hope to find. So that's the case. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys find it as fascinating as I do. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.